Ladies and gentlemen, this is the YouTube channel vlog show of inspiration and realness. Also, this is the YouTube channel vlog show of positivity, personality, and fun. This is Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, and now the perpetrator of these shenanigans, Big Beefy E himself from his Big Beefy Man Cave in New Bedford, Massachusetts, Mr. Shenanigans himself, and the two-time Chilling 3000 2022 End of the Year Awards winner, Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, episode 892 of the show. What's going on? Just finished watching some NXT, and the Red Sox did lose, too. I'll probably talk a little bit about that either on the Dugout Crew podcast Thursday, or get an episode of Big Beefy E's Boston Sports Beat. But for right now, we got to talk about what's happened on NXT. It's the final NXT before No Mercy, and lots of titles on the line at No Mercy, but also some matches need to be filled up. Start off with the Global Heritage Cup Heritage Invitational Finals, as Butch, representing Group A in the Brawling Brutes, went up against Joe Coffey representing Gallus in Group B, and Metaphor was watching over the matchup. But Gallus got involved in the matchup, but the referee caught him and decided to eject him from ringside, giving Butch the advantage over Joe Coffey, and Butch ended up picking up the victory. Meanwhile, Mackenzie Mitchell interviewed Dominic Mysterio about, says he retained the title over Dragon Lee, but because he says I'm free, and he says I'm free, I get to spend time with mommy and all that. But Mackenzie Mitchell says not so fast. Shawn Michaels has decided to have a triple threat to decide who would face Dominic Mysterio at No Mercy. Axiom versus Tyler Bate versus Dragon Lee. Winner of that match will face Dominic Mysterio to be the replacement for Mustafa Ali, who recently got released by the WWE. So Tony D'Angelo and Stacks were getting, they talk at the restaurant. They were getting ready for their dinner summit of tag teams that that have been chosen to challenge Stacks and Tony D'Angelo a little bit more in that situation. Meanwhile, Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza were the first ones to arrive, and they trade a little bit of barbs here and there, and talking about the tattoos that represent their grandfather. Meanwhile, Trick Williams went one-on-one with Joe Gacy, and Trick Williams did pick up the victory over the Schism leader, who has been depleted ever since the Dyad had left. Meanwhile, Kelly Kincaid did interview Trick Williams after the matchup, and he says, you know what, Melo's going to get, and he thought about it, he goes, you know what, Melo has his title, I'm going to get mine. So, and he walked out, and everybody wanted to know what the heck was that all about. Meanwhile, Mackenzie Mitchell interviewed Blair Davenport about her match. She was supposed to go one-on-one with Gigi Dolan. A little bit more in that situation. Meanwhile, Andre Chase and Duke Hudson were talking about Thea Hale, and JC Jane arrives. So you want to see the new look Thea Hale, and Thea Hale walked in, and Duke Hudson is what most of us men are thinking. Holy bleep. Looking good. Thea Hale looking good. Meanwhile, Josh Briggs went one-on-one with Baron Corbin, and Baron Corbin won the matchup, but he decided to address Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker shows up, and he's about to talk, but then he decided, well, I'm going to punch your lights out. And both of them brawled to the point where security and referees trying to come out and separate these two. More in this situation, it gets crazy. And so Trick Williams decided to go to HBK's office, knocked on the door. Come in. You got a minute? Yeah. So Trick Williams, well, gotta respect Trick Williams for being classy enough to go into HBK's office, like, with respect. And then they had the preview for Tiffany Stratton versus Becky Lynch. Extreme Rules for the NXT Women's Championship at No Mercy. Gonna tell you something, man. It's gonna be totally cool. Gonna be a heck of a matchup. I think if Lynch was to elevate the title, Tiffany Stratton could be the perfect. I think Tiffany Stratton could end up being the next Trish Stratus, or could be the next Charlotte Flair. I think Tiffany Stratton, to me, is a combination with the beauty and look of Trish Stratus and Charlotte Flair. Excuse me. So she's got the beauty of Trish Stratus and the athleticism of Charlotte Flair. So we'll see what happens. Sorry, Mike Bombardier. Gotta call it. I see it. Like I said. Hank Walker and Tank Ledger in tag team matchup against OTM. Out the mud, as their old phrase. From Bronco Nima and Lucian Price, accompanied by Scripps and I forgot to write down who won. OTM won the matchup. Meanwhile, the lovely Gigi Dolan was working out, but the lights go out and lights went back on, and she was attacked by Blair Davenport. I don't think this one's over by anything of a long shot. Meanwhile, the Creed brothers ended up joining the family's dinner table, and they were talking. Brutus wants to eat. At least somebody appreciates ma cuisine. There you go. Anyways, and So Axiom and Tyler Bate were talking about the triple threat, saying I got a lot of respect for you and Dragon Lee, but this is an opportunity of a lifetime. And yeah, you can't let it go to waste. But then Trick Williams comes in and said, "Hey, got to talk on the HBK. Triple threat is now a fatal four-way." I was like, "Oh, Trick Williams knows what's up." So the strap match, Eddie Thorpe against Dijak. And, Dijak was brutally attacking Thorpe to the point where he was attacking Thorpe in front of his family. And I think his little niece was crying too. And he's screaming, "That's for you, kiddo," and whipping. But Eddie Thorpe ended up picking up the victory over Dijak. And Dijak decided, well, I'm not happy with that, so I'm going to attack Eddie Thorpe. And that's what Dijak did. Disrespectful. Dijak, dude, come on. Chill. You lost. So, and then Vic Joseph was trying to give her a medical report update on Gigi Dolan, but then Blair Davenport grabbed the headset and starts taunting Gigi Dolan. I don't think Gigi Dolan's going to be done with Blair Davenport, and I think Davenport's going to regret the day she's ever ticked off Gigi Dolan. Just saying. Danny Palmer went one-on-one with a new look Thea Hale. She's got a new theme entrance music. And Thea Hale's trying to get a new attitude going thanks to JC Jane. As Chase U looked on after the matchup. And Thea Hale did win by submission with the Kimura lock. JC Jane is doing something good with Thea Hale here. And here's what I'm thinking too. The Undertaker, back in 1999, talked about having a killer instinct. And I think JC Jane must have picked up on some of that and decided, well, she's going to instill that killer instinct into Thea Hale. And Thea Hale has the enthusiasm, but she's got to learn how to channel it. That's for sure. And possibly in the right direction. Andre Chase may not understand, but sometimes a killer instinct can take you places. Just saying. Meanwhile, Williams was talking to Carmella Hayes. He said, "Listen, man, I got my fatal four-way. I got to handle business out there." But Carmella Hayes says, "I'm locked in with this contract signing." You understand, right? Yeah. Yeah, you do your thing, man, And Barry Corbin was being interviewed. Corbin was upset, asking stupid questions. And Braun Breaker and him and Brawl once again. So I was like, okay, these two guys are going to go at it. And if they keep it up, man, I'm telling you, if I were Shawn Michaels, I'd do something to kick this matchup or not. Then there was the Fatal 4-Way, Dragon Lee versus Axiom versus Tyler Bate versus Trick Williams. #1 contenders matchup. Whoever wins this matchup faces Dominic Mysterio at No Mercy. This was a heck of a matchup, and Trick Williams ended up being the victor in that matchup, and will be facing Dominic Mysterio at No Mercy for the North American title. Fatal 4-Way match. I already mentioned that. Out the Mud, a.k.a. Lucian Price and Bronco Nima, joined the family's dinner table, but he says, we're not here to break bread. We're here to decide we want our shot at the belts. But then the family looked at each other, when we decide, we want all you to be there. Fatal 4-Way. Got a problem? Here's the door. And Angel Garza liked it. Creeds don't mind. Lima and Rush and Price going, okay. So they made a toast and salute. In fact, the OTM threatened to make things ugly, but then Tony D'Angelo and Stacks brought their guys out. Yeah, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Mackenzie Mitchell interviewed Dominic Mysterio, and then Dominic decided, once again, and Dominic is like, Trick Williams, I'll beat him, I'll whoop that Trick, and oh yeah, by the way, Dragon Lee, thanks for the black eye, but then Dragon Lee once again blindsides him and starts screaming at him in Spanish, so that's something going to be interesting. Williams does celebrate with Hayes, and he goes, all right, I think you're going to be walking out with some gold, and he goes, yeah, well, I got to handle my business, and go right ahead, man. It's but there's a vignette, a little small vignette of somebody sitting down with a remote control, aiming it at TV. It has like some news, a news station, then Cincinnati Bengals football, and WCW Saturday Night. I just get 2 out of the 3 clues, and I think I got a feeling I know who is coming to NXT. And if it's not, and what I think it is, NXT is going to be on another level with this individual coming in. So this is going to be interesting for sure. But then they had the contract signing, Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes signing on the dotted line, saying that they'll beat one another for the NXT Championship, and they're going to test each other and take each other to the limits. So that is it. That's all the time we have on the show. Episode 892 of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. The final NXT of September. Also the final NXT before No Mercy. We'll find out. So, we'll find out what happens. I'll probably get my picks and predictions when I get everything together. Thank you for tuning in. And until the next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Lima speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E, do it for Bob Saget production. And in association with A Sweet Bowl for Raving Dingleberries Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another great episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. Until the next episode, goodbye for now.